Good morning, everyone. I'm Pooja Udayan, and the founder and managing trustee of Care Leavers Advocacy Network. The short form is CLAN, and the organization works for individuals who transition out of these childcare institutions, commonly known as orphanages in India. My entire life has been full of struggle from the very beginning itself. And so for many other individuals like me, India today, have around 23.6 million orphan and abandoned children. And out of that, 0.37 individuals are living into 9,500 childcare institutions, CCI. I was just 1 year old when I lost my mother, and we were three lion cubs living with Papa Lion, and we were very happy, living a very normal life with him. And there was music in the family, movies on Saturdays, and going to church on Sundays. Losing a mother didn't feel that lonely because we had at least one parent who was taking care of us and playing the role of both parents to us. I had a wonderful 6 years with my father, but before I turned 7, on 3rd November 2001, after finishing our lunch, he took his tuberculosis medicine and he said that I can wake him up at 4 o'clock and promised me that we'll go for Christmas shopping. I started waking him up at 3 because a excited child in me could not wait longer for, to go to Christmas shopping. I waked him up till 4 o'clock, but he didn't wake up. And I and my brother started crying inconsolably. And imagine losing both parents that at that young age is truly very, very devastating. We did not have money to pay rent, so we landed up in a slum area. You know, uh, as none of our relatives had the means or desire to accept us. Some of the people who lived in that slum area, who owed nothing to us, cleared a patch of ground where everyone else were dumping garbage in it. The area was so small that hardly, two people could, lie down in. But I, along with my two siblings and my one uncle who was mentally challenged, we used to sleep in that space. We didn't have kitchen, so the neighborhood area used to feed us. One auntie would arrange lunch for us. The another one would come forward to offer dinner, and there was no such thing called breakfast. I was struggling a lot whilst we were struggling in that area. There was this one social worker in the neighborhood community who came forward and asked us so many other things, about our life and everything. And then she contacted us to a childcare institution. My sister and I stayed in the girls' home, and my brother was taken away to a boys' home. And this was the first time that we were separated. The girls' home, where my sister and I stayed, did, did feel very, very disorienting at first. Because this was the first time we were living with so many girls, sharing literally everything with them. But I also owe a lot of gratitude to that organization, because that organization gave us food, shelter, education, and love that had no boundaries. Despite all of this, I still struggled emotionally, socially, and mentally. Not because anyone failed me, but because a love which was shared with, 30 to 35 children is still called love, no doubt. But when you compare it to a child alone receiving at home, so it is slightly thinner, than what a child alone, will receive or feel from a parent. I was the youngest and was a very, very quick learner. So my wonderful mentor mom at the institution admitted me to TPS Greater Noida. And that was a time when I missed my father a lot because my father always wanted us to study in a very, very good school. And yeah, his dream somewhere lived in me for years and still does. Schooling brought another challenges and lot of vulnerable side of me. I would like to share a story. When I and few of my school friends, we went to another school for a dance competition. Some of our teachers accompanied us along with a male teacher who joined the school recently after performing a wonderful dance, performance, just like you people just did. That teacher was so curious to know about me and my friend over there. And then he walked up to us and asked about, what my friend's father does, where does my friend stays. So my friend very confidently answered, my father is a merchant navy officer. And then he turned to me, and I was numb. I paused and then answered, I don't have parents and I stay in an orphanage. He looked at me with pity. He questioned me whether I get enough food. Do I have books to read? And suddenly I felt so exposed in front of my friend that I rushed to a washroom and I started crying uncontrollably, entirely alone. After that day, he started treating me very, very differently. Less questions, no scolding, even if I didn't finish my homework. It was a very, very different kinds of kindness. Kindness was there, but a very, very different kind of kindness. Kindness that came out of pity than expectations. In the same year, I lost my brother as well. He left the child care institution after completing his vocational course because he could not go to regular schooling because he was a very, very slow learner. He found a job, and from what I could see, that he was doing pretty well, living a decent life, and a stable income was coming his way. But leaving care at the age of 18 is something when the real challenges for the individuals who stay in these childcare institutions begin. Young people who are raising in these care institutions have to navigate everything, literally everything, finances, relationship, employment at such a tender age called 18, whilst carrying the unresolved trauma of losing families. The research done by Udayan Care organization in the 5 states of India states that 1/3 of the people who come out of these care institutions face anxiety and depression, and 50% of them do not have a stable income or the skills to go for and have an income. My brother is one such stories. He was never able to fully process whatever happened to us during our childhood. Eventually, the unresolved trauma in him could not caught up, and he was not able to deal with the broken relationship, and I lost him. I was only 15, and then this yet another devastating loss happened to me. My sister by then was married, and she was dealing with her own things in her own family. Although I was surrounded by individuals who were there in these childcare institutions, I used to call siblings and mentor moms and mentor fathers. But somewhere I felt this entire grief I need to manage my own. I literally had no means. how do I share about my emotion? And how do I talk to people about what I'm feeling? I went through the darkest phases of my life, and I didn't know whom should I talk to. More than ever, I missed my father deeply. At the same time, I was preparing for my 10th grade. I remember constantly worrying about what if I fail? Will I get another chance? What if I do not live up to my father's dream for me? That was the moment I made a decision that I cannot change my past, but definitely I can choose how do I respond to it. I decided to be stronger than my circumstances and pass through my grief and keep on moving forward one step at a time. I decided to work hard and I finished school with 72 percentage, got admission into Galgotia's University, started doing my undergrad in social work and graduated with 8 CGPA. After finishing my undergrad, I got my first job in the corporate social responsibility department at Genpact. After working there for about 5.5 years, during pandemic, applied for Chevening Scholarship, which is given by the UK government, FCDO. And for Indians to get through that scholarship is less than the chances for Indians to get to that scholarship is less than 2%. But I'm happy to share, when I applied, 69,000 people from 169 countries also applied. And I was among 1,668 individuals who got a chance to study in the UK universities. Happy to share that I have done my MSc in Development Studies, and this is my second master's from SOAS University of London, which ranks second in the world for Development Studies program. I became the first one in the entire generation of mine who have gone abroad, who have finished undergrad and also postgrad studies. If you have met that little girl in the slum area and you would have told her that eventually where life will take her eventually, I don't think so she would have believed you. I can never imagine finishing my school. I could never imagine that at such a young age, I will lose my parents. I was not prepared for this, and never imagined from losing both parents at that young age to becoming a Chevening scholar. But I kept on moving because giving up was never a choice. As I slowly rebuilt my life, I realized there are so many other individuals like me who are navigating through the challenges like I was. And during when I was doing my undergrad, I started visiting so many orphanages and NGOs just to understand what kind of support they are receiving. I realized a huge gap. That's when CLAN, Care Leavers Advocacy Network, was built. An organization, this type of organization was the first in entire South Asia, and to be honest, in entire Asia, I recently checked the stats, entire Asia, to work for individuals coming out of care homes. Knowing how education supported me, I decided to initiate the first program called Reach Higher, supporting individuals like me and those living with parents but cannot afford to have mentoring and guidance for higher education. So under Reach Higher, we are supporting individuals under 3 levels. Level 1 is encouraging those who, after coming out of their childcare institution, could not finish their schooling, encouraging them to finish their schooling under level 1. Level 2 is all about giving them financial support and monetary mentoring support to finish their undergrad in India. And level 3 is all about supporting them with guidance and mentoring to apply for global scholarships all around the world. But I notice that not everybody want to take the academic path, realizing for what my brother did. could not go to regular school, so hence he had to do his vocational skill. So there are individuals who are like little age is not in their favor. So which is why we came up with Agla Kadam program, wherein we are supporting individuals navigate through their transition from childcare institution towards independent living, understanding their needs and aspiration, and basis that enrolling them into the vocational skills of their desired choice. Happy to share that in Agla Gadam we have more than 800 youth who are navigating their life towards independent living. And in Reach Higher, we have 9 individuals who've been supported to study in abroad universities like St. Andrews and are currently making their lives overseas and settled in UK and Dubai. The good news is that the change is happening. Mission Vatsalya, the aftercare scheme after 18, is coming up with a lot of family-based care for individuals like me. And Clan's aim is that whilst all this change is happening, no care leaver is a global term used for individuals who have stayed in childcare institution, is left behind throughout their journey. My life has taught me that losing everything doesn't mean losing your future as well. Every sunrise brings a new hope, new encouragement, and a new opportunity to learn, to heal, and to help someone else rise too with you. Thank you very much.